All right, everybody, welcome to episode 2 of Toy Anxiety. My name is Craig Goldberg, and I'm going to be real with you. We just did 35 minutes of episode 2, and everything basically stopped working, but we're going to figure out a way to get all of that to you, whether it's audio or video. We'll figure that out. But Ryan Dole, what's up, man?
Hey, man. Things are great. Things haven't changed in the last 40 minutes, so I'm good.
Things are still good. No, I mean, it's been a crazy couple weeks, and listen, anytime you're launching a new show or a new anything, it's like in Jurassic Park. You're gonna deal with velociraptors escaping their habitat and then kind of taking over for a few minutes, and that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, and that's fine. We just we have a little clicker. We tell the raptors to hold, and we just get right back to it.
It's all good. But before we got cut off previously, and I think I'm making a decision on the fly here, we were kind of going over some of our recent purchases from this week. I know one thing I want to do on the show is be able to kind of talk about the things we're buying, the things we're getting into, and we were having a good discussion about Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, which is because the joke was that this was Episode 2 of Toy Anxiety, and the anxiety is real because production was shut down temporarily. I feel like every other movie and TV show in the world right now.
That's right. Yeah. Plus, it's almost like someone said, "No, we're not going to let these guys talk about how great Episode 2 is. Let's shut this down. We can't have this."
Well, this is what I want to do. So, like I said, we're gonna release that audio for everybody to hear. But let's talk about G.I. Joe, because I want to personally give my little backstory to G.I. Joe, and then we can kind of talk about our feelings of what's going on with Hasbro and the G.I. Joe Classifieds line. Does that sound okay with you?
Yeah, I love G.I. Joe. Let's do this.
So I have what I would consider a mild or novice appreciation of G.I. Joe. It wasn't in my wheelhouse as much as a kid. I watched the show, but didn't watch it fanatically like I did Ghostbusters or Ninja Turtles or anything like that. I had some of the toys as a kid. Most important in my memory, I had the Defiant. I got the Defiant for Christmas one year, which is the space shuttle, which was one of the greatest, play sets of all time.
Yep.
But I really haven't kept up with it over the years, and now Hasbro is rolling out the 6-inch classified line, and I know that's something that I don't know if it's controversial for fans. Some people love it, some people don't love it. But Ryan, you're a much bigger G.I. Joe fan than me, so why don't you tell me what you're feeling these days as far as where G.I. Joe is as a brand and where it could potentially go?
Well, right now, I think they're going the best route is by what they're doing with the 6-inch line, kind of updating the characters, modernizing them. I mean, yeah, I get that fans hate change. But they seem to all be buying it and freaking out when they can't get it. So
that is what's happening.
It's what's happening. So, they can't be doing too bad. And, you see the things where it's like, I've seen comments where like, Storm Shadow should only have the one tattoo. And it's like, give me a break. Come on. Like, right. I want to see them updated and modernized. Like, all I was thinking too when I saw that was like, oh, they're going to give them like tattoos and stuff like that. Cause I was thinking like Gung Ho's got that big chest tattoo. And I was thinking like, he'd look cool if they gave him like sleeves, made him totally badass, or even a character like Lady J or even Baroness. Like, well, Baroness never really goes sleeveless. She's kind of always in her like dominatrix gear, but it's like
that's why you like her.
That's why I like her. She's definitely one of my favorites. Doms and glasses, sign me up. So it's or even like Lady J, like a character like Lady J would look badass with her like short sleeves and like tattoos.
Right.
So I'm all down for all the characters being modernized and updated. It's I don't know. I like it. I think it's refreshing. I think it's nice, and I'm glad they're not going 3/4 inch.
Yeah.
On them. I don't think they have to. I think Hasbro knows that 6-inch is a collector's line and way to go.
Right. Well, I feel like they've been rumored, like, so going back, so I feel like Star Wars kind of set the bar when Black Series rolled out. And like, if you don't remember, like, I wasn't even really collecting Star Wars at the time, but that was a big deal. Like, that was people were not it was controversial as far as toys go. As far as if toy controversy is a thing, Hasbro rolling out a 6-inch line of Star Wars figures after, whatever it had been at that point, 35 years of 3 3/4 inch. That was a bold move. But I mean, if you look at Black Series and how far it's come, I think it's really paid off for Hasbro. I mean,
dude, when they announced it, I remember seeing collectors just be like, you can't do that. There's only 2 sizes, 3/4 inch and 12 inch. Yeah. There's nothing else. You can't go between that. There's no middle ground. Right. And they're like, I don't want to start a new collection.
Right.
All this stuff. You heard all the excuses, anything you could think of. Right. And then sure enough, they hit the shelves and they're the hottest thing.
Right.
Everybody wants them. And the same thing is happening with G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Right. The same thing, Power Rangers, all this stuff. Right. Anytime they've released a new series of 6-inch from Hasbro, it's hot.
Right. It's so funny too, because it's like, I do feel bad. Listen, I've got a ton of 3 3/4 inch Star Wars. I've got a bunch of the vintage stuff. I've got vintage collection. I've got regular stuff, and I get it. But I feel like, here's my advice to collectors. Anytime you're inspired to get on a message board or a Twitter thread or a Facebook thread and type out the words, but there's so many characters we haven't gotten yet in 3 3/4 inch. Like, it's like, for what? Listen, these companies, Hasbro, they want to make money, right? They're going to do, like, There's nothing in it for a major corporation to go against what will ultimately sell the best. And I know there's hardcore vintage collection collectors out there, but you have to understand that, sometimes you even though you were mainstream once, you have now become niche, right? And like, I think because we're such big Ghostbusters fans, we can relate to this. Like, I can't sit here and say, I don't understand why Hasbro isn't starting off Plasma series with Extreme Ghostbusters and IDW Comics Ghostbusters. Like, I get that it's a limited amount of people who would want
We still don't have Garrett. Why are we getting a Dana Barrett?
They haven't even given us Roland yet. So I get it. And it sucks. But so this is all to say that, how long has there been rumors or talk or fan demand for a 6-inch G.I. Joe series?
Oh gosh, it's years. I feel like that's been going on for 5 years.
Okay.
And I feel that, do you remember when they came, what was it? The second G.I. Joe movie that came out with The Rock.
Okay. Yeah.
And they were kind of relaunching the 3/4 inch line. Like, they were updated and modernized for that to look less fantasy, more military.
Okay, right.
I don't know if you remember those lines.
I do.
Them.
Okay.
Yeah, I have those waves. I think, because at that time I was like super excited. Like, we're getting like hazmat Cobra troopers. Like, yeah, this is great. And then, but even then they were starting that rumor of like, we're going to get G.I. Joe Black Series line. And it, those 3/4 inch toys, they sold well at the beginning. Of course, they trailed off. The second movie didn't do as good as they were hoping.
Right.
So many things, as we've seen also as Ghostbusters fans, when you're a niche fan of something, if something when they're trying to relaunch something and it doesn't, go the way the corporation wants it to go,
right,
it's going to get pushed aside, rethought out. They're going to think of a new plan. Nothing's ever really truly given up on at this point, I've noticed. Right,
exactly. Like, they're going to try new things, and like, that's why, like, I'm sure Hasbro has had talks of, as far as Star Wars going, we know for a fact that they got rid of the 3 3/4 inch line. Like, they've done a normal 5 points of articulation line for every Star Wars movie ever, including, Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Rogue One. So I'm making sure the camera can see my fingers as I count these movies. Solo had a big line, and then Episode 9, just nothing. They just stopped. And I know that it hurt as collectors and completists, but you know who did not care? Kids, because kids aren't buying them. And ultimately the toy industry is going to be driven by the buying habits of kids who care way more about Fortnite right now than they do about Star Wars.
Absolutely. And here's the other thing that I think our generation is going to have a lot of trouble. Like, this is going to be a hard pill for them to swallow. because when we look at real Ghostbusters and we look at real American Hero, and we even look at like vintage, the old Turtles toys,
Right.
that's like us looking at our parents' tin toys from like the 60s, or like even or how we look at Mego toys back in the 90s.
Well, that's why I always said
thing.
when Mattel, I don't have them with me, they're way up there, but when Mattel did the when Matty Collector did the Migos style real Ghostbusters
real
figures,
Ghostbusters, yeah,
I remember being like, what the fuck are they? Why are they doing this? Like, are people who like real Ghostbusters have no recollection or nostalgia for Migos style figures? Like, I appreciate them because they're weird and quirky, but like, and I remember we had we had a Scott Nyclick, who toy guru for Matty Collector. We had him on the podcast, and he basically was like, "Oh, those were the worst selling things we did in my entire time at Matty Collector. Like, nobody gave a shit about the Matty Collector."
Yeah, because that's a 10-year gap,
right,
of style of toy,
right,
and now when you're thinking about like retro collections from Hasbro and stuff, now we're going like 30 years ago,
right. I mean, imagine how the G.I. Joe fans of the 60s and 70s felt when Hasbro rolled out the 3 3/4 figures in 1982.
Dude, I will bet you if there was internet in 1982,
oh my,
you would still have, because you got to remember, there were G.I. Joe and Barbie collectors even back then that were adults.
Right.
And those seemed like the okay thing to collect.
Right.
Because they're Barbies.
Right.
They're something different. They're, for some reason they were just taken a little more seriously.
Exactly.
And then, so now I could see like those guys, like there should be Kung Fu grip. There should be a real beard. Where's the fold out tent? How come he doesn't have a canoe? And where's his spacesuit?
Right.
Right. I just needed one Joe. I didn't need 5 other Joes. And who's a black guy? Right. Like it's just,
right.
For us back then, like we were getting, when we were spoiled. And that's the other thing too. I think us as a generation as well, when you think about 3/4 collecting, like, and you say, they haven't made this character yet. It's because we grew up getting every character.
You know what's so weird to me though? I feel like sometimes our generation, just for context, I was born in 84. You were probably born in like 80 or 81 or something, like 70.
Yeah, I was born in 1980.
80. So I feel like our generation kind of gets a bad rap for like being closed-minded about like toys and stuff and like our characters. But like, you got to remember, like, we were getting, from real Ghostbusters down to like Masters of the Universe and G.I. Joe and She-Ra, like we were getting more black characters, more female characters, different nationalities, different, implied, sexualities and things like that. And like, we were all about it because like, it didn't matter. Like, so what I'm saying is that the generation older from before us is way worse than we are. Like,
yeah,
and we're like as open-minded as you could be. But you do see it now where the thing that people are complaining about of, well, why are they doing 6-inch? Why isn't it like, it's the same thing that happened in 1982. And guess what? There's a bunch of people, there's 11 and 12-year-old kids who are going to find classified series or black series and they're going to grow up on it. And in 25 years, it's going to change again to something else and they're going to be pissed off. So it's just the cycle of a toy collector.
Yeah. The moment they do like a 2-inch mini die-cast line of Fortnite in, 2043.
Oh, right. That's what
they're going to be losing their minds, right?
Right.
It's just going to be, and we'll still be doing this at 60 years old and being like, we saw this coming a mile away.
We saw it. You pray that you had something as good as Hasbro Pulse. No, but yeah, you're
going to miss those Walmart exclusives.
Yeah. Because Walmart won't be a thing. Nothing will be a thing. All exclusives will be just like, I don't know, Amazon or something. So yeah, I get the frustration. Change is hard. Like when the Matty Collector Ghostbusters line ended, I was bummed because there was a lot that we didn't get, but it's just the nature of, it's just how it goes. Like,
it is how it goes. And I'm cool with this change. I really like the new G.I. Joe look, and I haven't seen them anywhere up here in Canada yet.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to find them.
Right.
Granted, I am cherry picking.
Okay.
I am going to be getting mostly Cobras. Like if I can find a Cobra Commander,
Right.
I'll grab it.
This is so
I'm getting you to
sick.
look out for. Yeah, I'm getting you to look out for Baroness for me because it's
Right.
Baroness. I mean,
Right.
come on.
But
And then when Zartan comes out, or any of the Dreadnoks, I'm going to be all over that.
Now-
I want Dreadnoks to come with bikes as well. I want them to come with donuts and grape soda.
explain this to
I
me
want
though.
it.
You're the more hardcore GI Joe fan, and I'm more the novice, and you don't have any of them. I'm holding the entire first wave here.
Yeah, but dude, come on. This is you though.
I'm different.
You look behind you.
I'm different.
And it's not like those are hot. And there's no way that Craig Goldberg is going to say no
Roadblock.
to Roadblock.
He looks
There's
great.
just no way.
He looks great. I did find
Those are beautiful toys.
Snake-
like they really are beautiful.
Snake Eyes. I thought this was going to be really hard to find, but I found them at Walmart. Would you show these off here? Scarlet, very cool.
Dude, Phil Noto, who did the art on Scarlet's packaging, is so good.
Duke, and
Duke's.
and Destro, and like, listen, you gotta.
Hey, can I see
Destro.
the back of the package?
Yeah, there you go. So it's got some really great artwork. I really like that, and like, you know me, I'm a loose collector, but there's part of me that's thinking about just keeping these in package because they look like it just looks so good.
And the way your display is going now anyway, you have no more room for loose figures, so you might
these
as well
will be displayed in a bin somewhere.
in a bin.
Here's my logic. Am I a diehard G.I. Joe fan? No, but I'm a toy enthusiast. I'm a toy collector. I like that it's happening. I want to support these lines. And you know me, on a whim, I can get really into something really quickly. And if in 3 years I decide I'm a giant G.I. Joe fan and I'm learning about the entire history and rewatching the entire animated series and everything else, these are going to be, it's just like the first Black Series figures are now $50, $60 a piece. And like, I might as well pick them up when I can, especially since some Walmarts have them on clearance. I saw people finding them for $9 today.
Yeah, and if anyone's trying to gatekeep you on that, they can go fuck themselves because, let's face it.
Listen to Ryan Dole. Listen to Ryan Dole.
Because we all start somewhere with our fandom of something.
Right.
And because I grew up on a farm in Saskatchewan, we didn't have like I didn't have Saturday morning cartoons for maybe a couple years.
Right.
So everything I was introduced to first was always on the toy shelf, never the cartoon.
Exactly.
So when you say that you're getting into Joe now because you saw how cool the toys look,
yep,
I get that.
You get that.
I completely understand that.
7-year-old Ryan Dole on the farm understands.
No, this would have been 5-year-old, 6-year-old Ryan.
Okay.
Right. So
I said 7. Sorry, everybody. It was 6.
Yeah. So let's get real here for a minute. Okay. But yeah, that's how I was introduced to G.I. Joe, and even Ghostbusters was actually, and Superpowers, like the Superpowers toy line.
Right.
All of that I was introduced to through toys.
Right.
None of it was through TV. None of it was through movies. That's how I got into that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, I love, I like that Hasbro is doing what they're doing because they could easily, they could be lazy. And I don't know, some people are not happy with the retro G.I. Joe line. And some people are saying, I kind of think maybe they're doing it just to say they're doing 3 3/4 inch figures, but maybe not putting a whole lot of, I know they're kind of re-releases of the 25th anniversary figures. I guess I should ask you, cause I'm definitely not going to collect that line of the retro figures. How did you feel about that announcement?
Well, seeing as I already have them all from the 25th anniversary line,
yeah,
and I took them all out of package and stuff too. I don't care. It's for anyone who's looking, just for people who like that size and don't have them already, sure, grab them. But to be honest, if I was going to buy anything G.I. Joe right now, it's going to be that new 6-inch line.
Yeah.
I think when we get off here, I'm probably going to, when we're getting off, I'm going to get that Pimp Daddy Destro just off Hasbro Pulse. I think that is, and the fact that they made him like a pimp with the burning money and everything. I like how you could tell it's an adult collector line now because they kind of gave into that nickname that the fans gave him.
Yeah. And it's funny because it's all about the lens you look at it, right? So some people would say what I'm about to say makes them frustrated as a collector, but this is where I get excited as a collector because it taps into some of my OCD and organizational skills. Listen, they put out this first wave of classified and they got a second wave of another 3 figures coming, but then you've got an Amazon exclusive or two, you've got a couple online exclusives, Hasbro, and like this is the way the toy industry is right now because there is no Toys R Us. I know listen, you've got Toys R Us. We don't have Toys R Us.
But all those toy companies forgot that we have Toys R Us.
Right, exactly. But there's no mass market retail besides Target and Walmart for the most part. And you got to be able to diversify the way you distribute the toys in order to get them in collectors' hands, especially for something like, how NECA or Super 7 handles their distribution is much different than how Mattel or Hasbro or one of the big toy companies does it. And I think it's cool. And I think it allows me to make my checklists and try to keep up with everything. And the fact is like this line just launched and you're going to have 3 different Cobra Commanders within a couple months. So if you're a completist, there's a lot of fun to be had with this line.
It feels like there's a dozen figures have come out in a week,
right.
Which is wild to me.
Right.
But I also think that's so exciting.
Right.
Like it honestly, I know everything's frustrating right now. It's even frustrating for me. Like, because I know we're not going to probably get these ones as well until maybe end of September. But I mean, that's something I've been used to as well. Like I remember Wizard Magazine coming out and being like, here's our top 10 action figures for the month. And I'd be like, I haven't seen those. And that's when you start like doing you and your buddies getting in your cart,
exactly.
16, checking Toys R Us to see if those new X-Men have come out.
How long? But then when you were collecting as a teenager, would you ever be able to come? How far away are you from the border to America?
Well, so when I was growing up on the farm, like back in around Saskatoon, it was a long ways from a border. And then even if I crossed that border, because it's like above Montana or something, so it's like how far past that border do you have to go
right.
to find even something
let's not pretend like
a store?
Let's not pretend Montana's the hub of collectible action figures in America.
Right. And it's not like Vancouver where it's like literally 3 hours from Seattle.
Right.
Between Vancouver and Seattle, you can stop at Bellingham and Everett.
Oh, I've got to check my toy collecting privilege all the time because I'm in Atlanta. I'm in a major metropolitan area and I've got 15 to 20 Walmarts and 10 to 15 Targets within 30-mile radius. So for me, when I go out, get on my high horse about how you just got to get out there and hunt, I do mean that. Like, I understand if you're in a small town or if you're in Canada, like it's a different story. And with a lot of these exclusives being online exclusives or Target exclusives, whatever, if you don't have a Target within 200 miles, it makes it a lot different of an experience.
Well, it's even worse for anybody out in Europe or in Australia as well, because some of these, like some of the cases, they're just like, oh, sorry, we only ship to Canada, Mexico, and the US, right? And that has to suck. Like I can't imagine being what it's like to be a toy collector and having to deal with that.
No, yeah. I mean, I was listening to and they gave us a shout out on their podcast for Yes Have Some podcast. By the way, if you don't know, we have a podcast as well. Yes Have Some podcast. Check it out every week. It's available here on the channel or anywhere you get podcasts. Cheap.
I'm not on that one.
Ryan's not on that one.
But it's fine.
But the Toy Power podcast, who it's a group of fellas in Australia that have a toy collecting podcast. Very good deep dive information. I've really enjoyed listening to them. I just listened to the new episode today. But yeah, Australia is quite literally the other side of the world, and it can be really tough and really expensive to get stuff sent and imported. I mean, they were talking about the Sentinels, over $700 Australian. And it's a lot of money. It's bad enough being a collector where you've got stuff pretty available. So definitely empathy for anybody who is in a situation where it's much harder to get stuff. Having said
absolutely.
that, we're going to be reading some comments. We're going to do that segment. People seem to really enjoy that last week, so we're going to keep it up. We're going to have an official name for it where we read social media commentary.
Yeah, that's what I find kind of like, and what's great about that segment too is that they never give us. There's never a slow week.
No. There will never be a week where toy collectors aren't online completely going insane over something. And listen, sometimes I agree with them, but it's still fun to you got to have some self-deprecation.
Absolutely. I get it. I totally get it. And so it's totally fine. But yeah, dude, I have a question. What before we go off the topic of GI Joe?
Yeah.
Do you think they'll ever do a Haslab for GI Joe if this keeps staying hot?
So, um, let's analyze that. That's a really good question. So obviously what we've seen so far from GI Joe Classified is that it's popular, it's selling well, the exclusives are selling out genuinely, or generally I should say. People seem really excited about it. The first Haslab was the barge. It did really well. It took a while to get it funded, but vintage collection and Star Wars fans, there's a lot of them out there, so that happened. The What was the Transformers one they did?
I think it was like Cybertron.
Yeah, or the big. I'm not a Transformers guy, so
I'm not either. That big yellow thing. But anyways,
yeah,
that one took a long time too. They kept extending the deadline because they were so close. But
yeah, and we'll have to do a whole episode exploring what happened with Cookie Monster.
Oh my god, it's such a beautiful thing, and it was kind of like me being a big Muppet guy anyway, I was still like, oh, maybe I should order it.
Right.
And then I saw where it was kind of, and then you just knew.
Yeah,
like in that first week, you were like, no, I could order it, but I'm still ain't getting it.
Yeah. That was tough. So anyways, this is a long-winded way to say, to get us to the most recent one, which was the Sentinel, which is, that is a big, scaled action figure over 2 feet tall, specifically for 6-inch figures, the Marvel Legends line. And it did very well. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that we could get a Haslab for G.I. Joe Classified. My guess is that it would be a vehicle of some sort, because that's the one thing, like when we were at Toy Fair this year, when we were at the Hasbro event, and I was talking to the one of the representatives from Hasbro who specifically was talking about G.I. Joe Classified. And I'd ask the question every annoying person asks is there going to be vehicles? And by the way, Baroness is coming with a motorcycle, so there's going to be at least some smaller vehicles, but G.I. Joe is known for the tanks and the jets and everything else. So, and
the headquarters and everything.
Right. Like so yeah, a 6-inch scale playset for G.I. Joe. I mean, I think it's possible.
That would be the size of your living room. Right, that would be like someone being like, hey, I just bought a house.
Right. Well, I mean, listen, for Black Series, they just did a snow speeder. They've done a TIE fighter. They've done some of the smaller speeders. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. They're going full in on G.I. Joe. They've got a new movie coming out. It's kind of a reboot or rebranding of the property. And there's no doubt in my mind that it could happen. But you as a G.I. Joe fan, what would you want to see from a project like that?
Yeah, it's funny. I didn't think about it because I was thinking about it while you were talking, and I think
thank you.
A vehicle would be the best way to go.
Right.
And
like a HISS tank,
I'm agreeing
right?
with you there.
Like the HISS tank, or
a HISS tank.
Yeah,
that's it. That's the one.
That's the one. But that might not even be a Haslab. That could be just a $140, retail item.
But it has to be hot. Like this series has to do good, like Star Wars good, because
right.
Even like when Star Wars comes out with like the land speeder or a dewback or even speeder bikes.
Right. I
mean, do those necessarily sell well? Because how often do we get those on discount?
Well, Rey's speeder and Luke's speeder, I think Luke's speeder probably sold better than Rey's, but those I got those for $20. They were, I think, a $60 or $70 price point. I think though, here's what I would pose. G.I. Joe, it's a little bit more niche than Star Wars, but when you're at Target or you're at Walmart, if you showed me the landscape of people heading towards the toy aisle, I could pick out the G.I. Joe fans. Like I know,
oh, dude, yes, yes. There's a look to them, and it's funny because I am one of those guys. Like I have a Cobra tattoo. I am full in on Joe at any given moment. Like even if I don't buy all these toys,
right.
I'm there. I am one of those guys.
Right. And, it's a look in your eyes. It's like because it skews. So G.I. Joe, this version of G.I. Joe, launched in 1982. So if you were born between like 1975 and 1986, give or take a few years here or there, there's a good chance you fit into this category of 35 to 40-year-old dude who's excited about, especially if you're already if you already collect Marvel Legends and you're fully in on Star Wars Black Series and you've got Power Rangers Lightning Collection and you've got, Plasma Series, like there's a good chance you want these G.I. Joe figures. And I'm just putting it out there. Like I'm just looking at this Destro right now. They look great. Like these figures look amazing, and there's a lot of accessories, there's a lot of detail, and they didn't go cheap on these. This doesn't feel like a one-time, like we'll roll out the most popular 15, characters and be done with it. Like I could see this line being 100 to 150 figures deep very quickly.
Let's reuse a Darth Maul body and put a Storm Shadow head on it. Right. And then there you go. There's your ninja, right? They spared no expense. It feels like.
Right.
And it looks like a lot of thought and care was put into this line.
Well, and they've also proven they're going to be doing deep cut variants and characters very quickly.
It's like, and already they're doing that with like I said, with that Pimp Daddy Destro. Right, they're already doing those deep dive,
right?
Inside joke characters.
Exactly.
Like, I'm waiting for Chuckles to come out.
Right. Well, and I'm
expecting Chuckles to look like Jacob.
And it's funny too because like there's a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek meme culture aspect to G.I. Joe because I mean, all the public service announcement videos that came out,
yep.
Like people kind of took the internet, like early internet by storm. It's kind of around the time of peanut butter jelly time and all that stuff.
Right. Yep.
Or like Mattel, or not, it wasn't Mattel. Super 7 put out the laughing Prince Adam, figure, like just because that meme or that video was so popular. So
I would have loved it if one of the characters comes with pork chop sandwiches. I would lose my mind because I wouldn't let anybody post about it in group therapy. I would take it down.
Exactly. We should plug that. By the way, if you're a fan of what we're doing here on the Yes Have Some channel or Yes Have Some Toy Anxiety, join our official Facebook group, which is Yes Have Some Group Therapy, where Ryan is our top admin and he will shut your shit down.
If I don't think it's funny, I will take it down.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have a sense of humor, but we will not let you not have one. So, so lots of good stuff with G.I. Joe. I think a Haslab, it would make sense. I mean, we know the next Haslab is Star Wars Vintage Collection. So let's talk about that for a few minutes. It's going to be announced in the next couple weeks. Do you have let's talk about what you think it could be. And then let's talk about what you want it to be. Because those are two completely different things.
Right. When they first said it, the next one was going to be Star Wars. This was before that Millennium Falcon was released. And I actually kind of thought, I bet you they might do a Falcon.
Okay.
That was my first kind of thought. And then they kind of said, oh, look at this. It's going to be a Target and Toys R Us Canada exclusive.
The Smuggler's Run, that one?
The Smuggler's Run, which is awesome. At first I was like, I'm not going to get that. That's $400. And then the video came out today, and I was like, I'm going to get that. That's $400 because it was so good. Like they had, after hearing the voices and seeing all the things it does, and I was like, yeah, I'm looking at my place. Like I have no room for it.
Right.
I don't care. It's just going to sit on my lap wherever I go.
Yeah.
And because I'm just going to play.
I mean,
so that was, that's where I was going, but now I ran out of space in my head of like, what else could they make?
Well, let's see it. So it's going to be vintage collection. So we know it's going to scale to 3 3/4 inch. So,
right.
As far as
their Death Star playset,
that's the only thing I think.
Do it?
I think that's the only thing it could be because okay. So it's probably not going to be a vehicle, right? We've gotten X-Wings, we've got Millennium Falcon, we've gotten, AT-ATs. Like when you think of the big, the sail barge was the one where it's like, how are they ever going to do that? And then they did it. It's this big 4-foot, Haslab project. So how do we kind of rationalize in our mind what it could be? I'm thinking it either has to be one of two things. It either has to be a playset like the Death Star playset, which Star Wars collectors have been talking about wanting an updated version of the original one for basically forever. And we can get into your feelings on that here in a second.
Yeah, I know.
Or the other thing I thought it could be, because vintage collection, like we talked about earlier, it's got more of this niche fan base at this point, and there's a lot of characters that haven't come out yet. Maybe they do like a 15 or 20 pack of exclusive characters that you can only get through Haslab. And I think a lot of people would actually be really excited about that, because that would fill in a lot of the one thing collectors always talk about. There are gaps in my collection. There are major gaps.
Especially with the new trilogy. I think the new trilogy definitely has gaps.
I don't think that's what they're going to do. Oh, cool.
They're
it's
not
the Rise of Skywalker
that,
10 pack.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is, because for so long, because there was always big gaps between movies. So Phantom Menace comes out. They can fill up those next 2 years with every character twice, plus every character in the background. And here's your 10 pack of all the pod racers and everything.
Right.
When they started pumping them out yearly, then you have like, here's your main characters. Oh, got to get ready for the next movie. Here's your main characters.
Right.
Next movie. Here's your main characters. And they never really got to explore those side characters. Right. And so I could see them maybe doing that. And at the same time, I could also see them being like, here is your full on your episode 4 cantina. Here's the full bar. Here's the booths. Here's the entrance. And take a look. You get 2 bartenders. You get EV-99 from The Mandalorian. And here's that dopey looking, Muppet looking character who's actually a human from episode 4.
See, I'd be excited about that. I feel like because I've scaled back my 3 3/4 inch Star Wars collection, even though I do have the Barge, and I've just filled it with Barge characters, or Return of the Jedi, Act 1 characters, I should say. I don't know how I feel. Like, it's going to have to be, if it is a Death Star playset, that's going to pique my interest, but it's going to have to be pretty damn cool for me to take that dive.
If you were going to do a Death Star, like, I know what I would do now. If there was a Death Star playset, I would have it in 2 different sides.
Okay.
So you have your one side, which would be episode 4.
Okay.
Right? Then you could turn it around, and it's the other side, and it's Return of the Jedi. So you have a throne room, and let's face it, that's the only thing you really see inside the Death Star in Return of the Jedi, anyways.
Right.
But then on the other side, you could still have your whatever Obi-Wan goes to turn off the whatchamacallit.
That's probably
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah. The whatchamacallit. And then you have your trash compactor.
Yeah. So you can have different sections.
You have your detention block, and you could still have your throne room at the very top. You could have everything.
Right.
Well, I actually would like it if they added onto it the meeting room from episode 4, where you can put all your generals sitting there,
Tarkin.
Vader choking people out for talking shit.
Yeah. I feel like if they do it, it's going to be something like that. It'll be kind of based on, kind of like what Mattel did with the updated Castle Grayskull, where it's rooted in the original design, but it's just, up to the standards of what a modern toy or modern playset should be. I kind of think it would be cool, if they did something kind of modular where you get the Death Star playset, maybe there's some add-ons, maybe they put some retail exclusives to like add on different pieces or different rooms or.
How about this? Seeing what they did with the Sentinel, and now they're a little more prepared with how the Sentinel went, because they had the tiers, right?
Right.
And those tiers went in 24 hours.
Now
they had them all unlocked.
We got to be careful here.
Yeah.
When we're talking about tiers and toy collectors. We got to specify what kind of tiers we're talking about.
I mean, unlockable tiers for when you so when they reached 1,000, all of a sudden they were like, okay, that's all of it, guys. We got nothing else. Right. So I could see where they could do it like this, where it's like, here is your basic, it's the recreation of the one from 1980, your Death Star playset. Get to another 1,000. Here's your throne room. Next another 1,000. Here's your docking bay. And docking bay would be huge. Like, imagine if they made a docking bay add-on that could fit that new Falcon, Smuggler's Run.
That'd be amazing. I think having goals, to get people excited about hitting, whatever the next step is to get to make sure it happens. I don't think they're going to have any doubt that whatever it is going to actually happen. But I really do like what they did with the Sentinel. I think that was a really smart way to ensure, ongoing excitement about the entire platform. Although it was funny, once those 3 initial tiers were locked, and then they were like, "We don't have any more," and people were like, "You lied to us."
Yeah,
You completely lied to us. Oh my god.
Well, again, like when you take a look at what's been happening at Hasbro in the past,
Right.
It makes sense to only have a few things ready.
Right. Yeah.
Seeing
100%.
as like the barge made it, but just at the deadline.
Right.
And every other deadline had to be pushed,
Right,
or
well-
it didn't even make the cut.
Cookie
So
Monster.
I mean, how are they supposed? Like they planned. I think Hasbro did the right thing, and I think they planned accordingly based on what's been happening in the past.
Right. Very good.
Like you can get as pissy as you want. I think Hasbro did the right thing.
Okay, cool. So why don't we go ahead and move on to our segment that'll close us out for the day, where we go on to various social media platforms, message boards, and things like that, and pick out some of our favorite comments and related to toy, whether it's toy news or toy releases, exclusives. You told me you had a couple picked out that you were pretty fond of, so why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Yeah. So this is from the Yakface forums Instagram account.
Okay.
They just released a video about the Galaxy's Edge, Smuggler's Run, Millennium Falcon.
Okay.
So, and as anyone in the States knows, Target sold out in no time flat.
Right.
Because the bots, right? The bots know. The bots know.
Right.
So something's hot, gotta buy it fast. So already here we go. At the end they should have put large letters, pre-order sold out. Go to eBay and buy it for $99.99.
That's what they should have put. Oh my god, that's so funny. I wonder what that person feels like typing that out. Like, do they feel good about it?
Get it while supplies last. You have 6 seconds.
That's not even funny or clever. Like, you got to be able to come up with something better than that.
Right? Like, it's funny. Like, I don't
my
care
God.
what anyone says.
That's
It's
so
like,
funny.
come on, dude. And there was another one I had lined up, and I think it might be gone.
Uh-oh. They deleted it. They knew we were coming for them.
Oh, they probably did at this point.
All right. I got a couple good ones here from Twitter.
Oh, go for it.
In relation to some of the, we had a nice discussion about G.I. Joe Classified. So here we go. And I'm not going to read who posts these. I'm not going to put them that much on blast, but at Hasbro, which is my favorite already. Do you care to comment to the collector community for yet another botched exclusive release? Many fans are very upset with the Target exclusive G.I. Joe Classified wave, which sold out instantly on their website and now in stores with the abrupt change of the street date. So that's in reference to the fact that they pre-ordered on the website, they sold out quick. They're supposed to hit on August 14th, and now they're supposed to hit August 1st. And I saw I was on a Facebook page this morning. People were in line at Target with G.I. Joe fans before the doors opened, and they were like, "Is anybody else like on the hunt today?" I don't know. Guess what? Target doesn't care about this at all. They just don't.
No,
They're
just like,
but they just don't.
Come buy an X-Men T-shirt. All right, you're fine. Target doesn't care.
All right, so here's another one. At Ask Target, regarding your exclusive G.I. Joe figures, all of the stores in my area are sticking to the 14th date. August 14th street date, regardless of change in date by Target and Hasbro to sell now. How can I convince them of the new date so I can buy them? Very confusing. So this guy wants to go into Target and take somebody who's busy working and convince them that Hasbro said it was. Could you imagine going in there and being like, "Hey, I need to talk to you. The Betty Crocker Corporation said I could buy this thing that you don't have on the shelves yet. So is there any way that you can hook me up?"
Yeah, by the way, your shipment might not have come in because there's a pandemic going on, but I expect that it's going to happen today.
Oh my gosh. Let me find another one.
This is one someone like Naked posting about like, hey, Toka and Razar are now on sale. Go get them.
Right.
Yeah. I like this pre-ordering. It's appreciated. You had me all the way up to $17 shipping, though.
I can't believe the shipping.
Like that's what's going to make or break it for you?
Right,
That's
the shipping.
$17?
The shipping. Like, if you want it, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I don't know what to tell you, man.
Yeah, maybe next time they should just put the shipping on there and just tack an additional $20 onto the price.
Let me see. Oh, I found a couple.
Hey Randy, I went to place my order for Toka and Razar, but the shipping comes to $20.94. Can that be right?
Like Randy from NECA's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. $20.94. Something's gone wrong in the system.
That's not right.
So I'm a little bit bummed. Some of these are really nice. I want to find some complaint. Well, I'll do one more. Man, maybe G.I. Joe fans aren't as angry as I expected. Hold on one. I'm going to type in G.I. Joe Target. That should bring up some good stuff.
Type in Target. Target exclusive. Let's type that in.
Okay, here we go. I understand at G.I. Joe Official was just trying to best to remedy a bad situation by Target stores breaking the street date. Promising Joe collectors that Cobra Island figures would be for sale today was the wrong way to go about it. You promised me that my Cobra Islands would be on sale. How can I convince this 15-year-old girl at Target that works there that Hasbro told me I could get them?
Yeah.
I love it. Absolutely.
God, can you imagine? I can't even imagine bothering somebody. Like I said, I've worked retail before, and it's always been that way.
Right.
If they want it, they'll come find you, and
right.
You could be in the middle of doing something. You could be like closing your register,
right?
And they're still gonna come creeping through and being like, "Go check the back."
Right. Well, listen, man, this was a lot of fun. Dealt with some technical difficulties, but I think we're off to a good start here with Toy Anxiety.
Absolutely.
I think we're gonna keep doing it because the next couple of months and going into Ghostbusters Afterlife, there's gonna be plenty to talk about over the next little while.
Oh, dude, we got in like a few weeks. It's gonna be the Hasbro Pulse exclusives coming up online. Then we've got Super Shredder coming next week.
Yep.
Dude,
I quit.
We're in for.
I'm like one of those NECA collectors. I couldn't get Casey and Raph. I quit. I'm selling them all.
I'm selling my entire collection, and I've stuck with you this whole time. I'm going to go to Super 7 now. Super 7's my new dad.
All right, everybody. On that note, thank you for joining us. Please remember to subscribe to the channel for more Yes Have Some toy videos. Yes Have Some Toy Anxiety. Yes Have Some podcasts. And everything under the Yes Have Some brand, which is now ballooning. It's growing. We're growing. Ryan, thanks, man.
Great. Thank you. Have a great weekend, everybody.